Against my better judgment, I watched Cuties last night. There is nothing cute about it. To be fair, people were criticizing the film before it was released on Netflix on the 9th of this month. This was mainly due to the poster used here in the US versus the French poster. Young girls in tight, revealing clothing posing provocatively versus them just skipping and throwing confetti. I really did want to give this movie a chance. I thought perhaps it would, at some point, take a very dark turn and really show the seriousness and consequences of sexualizing children. But everything about Cuties is wrong on so many levels. The ending dance scene went viral on Twitter. 11-year-old girls are literally performing dance moves used in Cardi B's WAP. The way it was shot was gross. The angles, framing, close-ups were very disturbing. There was even one part during the film when watching their rival dance team, one of the dancers, who's about 15 years old, shows off her breast. There is also another part of the film where the main character takes a picture of her crotch, then uploads it to social media. The following scene shows her being called into the principal's office. There is the usual jeering of her classmates. The very least they could have done for this film would to film a scene where she is actually talking to the principal or a counselor to tell her how serious this is. But nope, none of that going on. In many ways, this is very glossed over and even glamorized. Netflix has even defended the film by saying, Cuties is a social commentary against the sexualization of young children. It's an award-winning film and a powerful story about the pressure young girls face on social media from society more generally growing up, and we'd encourage anyone who cares about these issues to watch the movie. But then again, Netflix has also said it's important to remember that our content is mostly pedophilia free. Mostly pedophilia free? Yeah, no. Not a good way to put that.
That exploiting children online is one of the worst dangers and one of the worst social threats that we face. But let's talk about whether or not being callous towards children's safety is actually a part of the business model of some of these companies. And my concern is that it is. And I think you don't have to look any further than the reports about YouTube, the New York Times reporting last month about the algorithm collecting and funneling videos of minor children to pedophiles. And of course, as we have discussed this morning, allowing those pedophiles to contact the children. This report was sickening, but I think what was even more sickening was YouTube's refusal to do anything about it. YouTube admitted that they could do something about it. They could stop auto-referring these videos of minors to pedophiles, but they chose not to do so. Why not? Because their model is that 70% of their business, 70% of their traffic, it comes from these auto-recommended videos. In other words, there's ad revenue that would be lost if they actually took some enforcement steps here, took some steps to stop this exploitation of children. So my first question is, does anybody here think that one of the world's largest, most powerful companies should be privileging their ad revenue over children's safety? Well, that's why I introduced a bill that would require YouTube to do what it can do, what it absolutely has the power to do, which is to stop recommending videos that feature children unless those videos fall within very carefully tailored safety and exceptions. It would apply not only to YouTube, but it would apply to any video hosting company. It's common sense legislation. I hope this committee will hold a hearing on it. I hope we'll mark it up. I hope we'll refer it to the full Senate and act to actually protect our children online.
The bad news is that Cuties is now on Netflix's top 10 list. But the good news is that various lawmakers are gathering to put this film under investigation. Josh Hawley and many others have some very serious questions that need to be answered, and I couldn't agree more. In early 2019, journalists first began to report that YouTube videos of children in partial states of exposure were being inundated with comments by pedophiles exposing the children involved in the videos and other children visiting the platform for potential harm. Now, Netflix is airing a film called Cuties, depicting children being coached to engage in simulated sexual acts for cameras both on screen and off. Your decision to do so raises major questions of child safety and exploitation, including the possibility of copycat behavior and exploitation of child actors. Why did your company designate this film with a TVMA for quote-unquote language without any mention its graphic sexual content? In marketing this film, did Netflix consult with any experts or authorities on combating child sexual exploitation or the psychological and emotional impacts of the sexualization of minors? In the marketing of this film, did Netflix consult with any law enforcement authorities or experts about the possibility of copycat behavior, such as the viewing and imitation of hardcore pornography by children who may see this film? Did Netflix at any point take any measures to ensure the protection of the physical, mental, and emotional health of children, of child actors made to perform simulated sex acts and filmed in a sexual or sexually suggestive ways? Why did your company choose to market this film, which touches on a range of issues including religion, culture, and social media, with a poster solely depicting scantily clad preteens in sexually suggestive positions? Why did your company choose to market this film with a poster different from the French original, which depicts children throwing confetti into the street? What internal algorithmic designations has Netflix appended to this film? And what are the primary algorithmic characteristics of this film's primary viewership as of today, September 11th, 2020? We will await your response. Sincerely, Josh Hawley. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 2020 has been an insane year, and I am finally glad that people in power are actually opening their eyes and stepping up to the plate and actually doing something about an important issue. These are young girls, and many people, including myself, feel like these young girls have been exploited.
I tweeted my disgust for what I had seen of the movie, and a few people said this. If you look at the director's interviews, you will see she wanted to denounce the phenomenon of hypersexual children. But Netflix, to market the movie better, I assume, made a very sexualized poster to create outrage and make people talk about it. So I responded saying, honestly, the director's intent is irrelevant to me. Actually, exploiting kids to raise awareness about exploiting kids is kind of like abusing an animal to raise awareness about animal abuse. It's not really going to fly. If anything, it probably would have been a smarter decision if that was really her intent, which who knows if it is.
And really, at this point, I'm just at a loss for words.